How the Tortoise Got a Cracked Shell. Long ago, in a time when animals could talk and live together in a great village deep in the heart of Igbo land, there was a tortoise known far and wide as Mbe. Mbe was clever, very clever, but he was also greedy, cunning, and always plotting mischief. He had a shiny brown shell and walked slowly, but his mind raced faster than any antelope in the forest. One year, there was a great famine. The sky had refused to cry its rain, and the earth grew dry and cracked. The rivers became shallow whispers, and the trees bore no fruit. The animals were weak. Hope was thinning out like the Harmattan breeze. But then news broke. The sky people, those who lived in the clouds, were holding a great feast, a grand feast, with juicy yams, steaming agouti soup, palm wine, roasted plantains, okra, fufu, and fruits from every season. Oh, it was said to be the kind of feast that could feed a kingdom for days. But there was one problem. The animals of the land could not fly. Mbe, crafty as ever, hatched a plan. He went from bird to bird, persuading them to lend him one feather each so he could create wings of his own. "Oh, please," he said with a voice as sweet as honey, "I am only a poor tortoise who wants to share in this joy and represent our land. Give me just one feather." Touched by his plea, the birds agreed. One by one, they plucked out a feather and handed it to Mbe. And when he had enough, he stitched them together and made grand, colorful wings. But before they flew, the birds reminded each other, "Remember, this is for the good of all. We shall share the food equally." They all agreed. But Mbe? Oh, he had a different plan. On their way to the feast, he told the birds, "You know what? It's only right that we use noble names when we arrive. For me, call me all of you." Yeah, that sounds respectful. The birds looked confused, but they shrugged and nodded. When they reached the Sky Feast, the cloud spirits welcomed them with songs and dancing. The long table was filled with food that glistened under the golden sun. The aroma alone made mouths water. And then the Sky King said, "This feast is prepared for all of you?" Mbe grinned wide. "Oh, that's me," he shouted, stepping forward. "I am all of you, so this food is mine." The birds gasped, but Mbe sat down and devoured the meal like a lion who hadn't eaten in weeks. He licked the soup, chewed the meat off the bones, and slurped every drop of palm wine. He even belched loudly. Angry and humiliated, the birds quietly gathered. They decided to teach him a lesson. One by one, they took back their feathers. Mbe, now full and bloated, suddenly realized he couldn't fly back home. "Please," he cried, wobbling to the edge, "someone help me down." But no bird listened. Terrified, Mbe called down to his wife, who was tending their garden below. "My dear wife," he shouted, "bring out every soft thing we have, mats, pillows, leaves. I am about to jump." But his wife, confused and annoyed with his antics, brought out the hardest items instead, old mortars, pestles, and firewood. Mbe leapt. Slow motion sound, crashing, loud thud, shell cracking. He crashed hard, and his beautiful shell shattered into pieces. Painfully, he crawled into hiding. Days passed, then weeks. The village thought he had died, but he hadn't. Slowly, he pieced his shell back together. Yet the cracks never faded. And from that day, every tortoise was born with a cracked shell, a reminder of Mbe's greed and trickery. And so, my friend, the tortoise walks slowly, not just because of his small legs, but perhaps because he is still carrying the weight of that old lesson. Moral of the story: greed and deceit may win you a feast today, but they will cost you your honor forever.